Hello everyone, so this is kind of an impromptu video, something new, something I don't typically do. Something I've been really looking into a lot lately, in addition to product reviews, is different makeup techniques. And I was kind of dipping my toe and trying to decide where I wanted to start. And then today, Wayne Goss actually posted a video about how to use a pink blush as a bronzer. And one thing that always cracks me up about his videos is he's putting it on, he says, don't be scared, it's just makeup, don't be scared. And I'm always scared. So, you know, I'm doing some of my own research and techniques, and I'm going to link his video down below. This is in no way meant to be a rip on his or saying that this was my technique, but I just thought that's kind of an unusual approach to a way to use a pink blush, so I'm going to take his advice. I'm going to try to not be scared and maybe show you guys if a completely normal non-makeup artist such as myself can do it, then maybe you can too. So I'm going to get started just by pulling the hair away from the face in the extremely attractive hair restraining way. There we are. And I don't have anything on my face right now, so what I'm going to start out with is just a little bit of concealer and powder. Now in his video, he actually used a powder foundation, which I don't really have. I tend to use liquid foundations. The closest thing that I have is this Maybelline Fit Me compact powder, and then I've got the Clinique blended face powder, which, as I mentioned in a previous video, I don't necessarily think it's entirely translucent. So I think with a little bit of concealer and some powder combined, I might be able to just about get away with it. So I've got a mirror kind of down, but I'm gonna see what I can do. I'm just gonna be using my Diorskin Forever Undercover concealer to cover up some of the dark spots on my face, because I want a relatively even canvas to go in with this. I don't really want any of like my spots, or I've mentioned sort of my natural pigment over here coming through, but I also don't want to use a full heavy foundation, a heavy liquid foundation. I think part of the point of this particular method is to keep it very light, and I think going in with a liquid underneath the powder is going to be it's going to make it really difficult to keep that powder looking nice and light. So I'm going to start just by stippling those concealed spots a little bit, and then we'll go in with the Beauty Blender and cover up whatever's not adequately concealed, or adequately blended rather. Okay, so far so good. I don't really think that for purposes of this little video I need to do a whole lot with concealing. So now I guess I'm gonna go ahead and try a little bit first with this Fit Me. I'm just using a little sponge that comes with it. But I actually think, you know what? No, I'm not gonna do that because I don't really like the pressed powder. I'm gonna use this Clinique one, and I'm gonna go in with the Beauty Blender and just kind of dot that all over my face. And we'll see how this goes. Maybe I'll go over it with a brush as well. Just make sure it's kind of a nice light base for that blush to go in under, over, under, over. So I've gone ahead and I've done that, and now I'm just going to take a face brush from Bare Minerals, and I'm just going to swirl that lightly in the powder, knock off excess, and make sure I've got a nice powdery finish, because again, from what I gathered from Wayne's tutorial, you really want the blush to have something light. So I think it's just so it doesn't stick and look too pigmented when you put it on. So I'm pretty happy with that. The one other thing I'm gonna do, which normal people don't have to do, but I do, is fill in my eyebrows, because, now where is the brush that I use for this? Because I have naturally blonde, virtually invisible eyebrows, so I'm gonna go ahead and just fill those in like I typically do. Maybe a little bit lighter than I typically would. There, you can see the difference. It's nothing too crazy. It's not Instagram eyebrows by any extent, but it just gives them a little bit more definition and sort of shapes the eye. Otherwise, when I put mascara on, it looks a little bit crazy. And there we go, nothing too crazy there at all. So what I used for that was just the Benefit Foolproof Brow Powder. I used this guy in shade 3, although I actually think the next one lighter would be a little bit better. And then the brush I've used for that for ages is a Morphe B20, and the reason that I like this one is it's a boar bristle brush. It's a little bit rougher bristles, so I feel like it really deposits the product in the brows a bit better. So now that that's done, and I'm gonna have a cat joining me, there he goes, right, moving along. Now getting into the fun bit here. So the blush that I've chosen, to do this with is a Laura Geller Baked Gelato Vivid Swirl Blush. This is in the color Guava. It's a nice brush. It's a nice blush, and I'm going to use another Morphe brush. This is an M510. It's just a nice fluffy brush. Sorry, Wayne, I don't have your brushes like he's watching this. It would be really cool if he ended up watching this, but you know. So going in, getting, I guess, a relatively decent amount of product on that. So the purpose of this is to go kind of around the eyes and over the nose. And this is the part where he said, don't be scared and just go to town on it and know that you can blend it out. This feels insane to me, like Halloween makeup insane, but I'm gonna see it because the whole point is if I can do it, then the rest of us can do it too. So he said to flick it out and up over the nose, and then also we're feathering up here. So notice I didn't go back in for any extra blush. I'm just using what's left on that after getting the cheek area and getting it up here. I'll go back to the same on the other side. Flick. I hope it's coming up on the camera. I can see it over the bridge of my nose, but I hope that you're seeing the nice color building up on my cheeks too. I have a very small forehead, you'll notice. I don't have a whole lot going on here, so I tend to be very light on what I do with my forehead. I never contour my forehead, but obviously do you. Go with whatever works for your face shape. I'm just playing here. So this is a bit of fun. All right, so now that I've got that sort of there, I'm gonna use that Bare Minerals powder brush again. No, nothing extra on this, but I'm just gonna blend. Everything we've just done. You can see it really does blend out nicely if you've applied it well and I guess used a good product. Laura Geller is pretty great. I like her stuff most of the time. So to me, I guess I'm worried I still look like I have a sunburn, but on camera it looks like it's blended out really nicely. So the way to finish this out, I'm going to grab a highlighter. And the one I'm going to be using is an Hourglass Ambient Strobe Lighting Powder. This is in the shade Incandescent. You could go for a more pinkish highlight. The other one that I had considered using for this was the Bare Minerals Pure Radiance. In fact, let's go ahead and do that one, because this one's just an oldie but a goodie, and it's got a nice sort of pinkish hue to it, more so than the Hourglass. So I'm going to take that same brush, I'm going to swirl that in there, and then I'm just going to very lightly, that's nice and delicate, go in there. Something really light. It's a very soft look. It's not supposed to be terribly dramatic, and I am just surprised at how much that actually blended out, not looking super alarming. So to accentuate the eyes just a little bit, I'm gonna go in with this brush. This is just a really skinny, it's good for edging and detailed work. And I'm gonna take this black right here out of the Charlotte Tilbury, what is this called? Instant Eye palette. And I'm just going to touch it in that, and I'm gonna take it along the lash line. There, let me zoom you in so you can maybe see that a bit better. So all I did was really get this brush up into the lash line and smudge back and forth. And I brought that about halfway over to really get the eye to open up outward and diagonally. And you can see the difference in the definition between what's going on this side and what's going on this side. So I'm gonna do that with both eyes and then pop a little bit of mascara on. Stabbed myself in the eye. I'm learning with this technique. Okay, so I've got the mascara on and I just feel like I might be looking a little bit sunburned around the nose. Maybe I got a little heavy-handed with the blusher there. So I'm just gonna add a little bit more of that powder to the powder brush and go back in and blend a little bit. Maybe tone that down where it got a little crazy. There we are. And then last but not least, a gloss on the lips. I'm going to be using Laura Geller Color Luster Lip Gloss in Peach Glaze. Just something, doesn't have a lot of tint to it, but it's going to draw a little bit of attention to the lip because it's super glossy and reflective. And that is it. Ha! Well, would you look at that? I actually feel very youthful and glowy, exactly like he said. So I'm super surprised. I honestly thought of all of the makeup techniques and tutorials and things that I could try and share with you guys that this one was going to be one that was going to be an epic fail. But I mean, look at the color of this blush. I honestly thought I was going to look ridiculous by the time we were all said and done, but really quite happy with it. So this is just a really nice sort of 5-minute glam. And like I said, you saw I had absolutely nothing on my face to start. This was just concealer and powder, which I think my cat might be sitting on, but that's it. So anyway, thank you for watching. Expect some more videos like this. I definitely want to start reading up on more techniques and doing more technique type related videos as opposed to just product reviews like I typically do. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, if you haven't already, go ahead and click subscribe and I will see you in my next one. Bye.